you did, man, but you just stole like $10 million, right? What's up, guys? Today we are looking at this Logan Paul video, not by Logan Paul, of Logan Paul. It is called Investigating Logan Paul's $16.5 million Pokemon scam. I've heard about this one before. This is the guy. This guy bought a Pokemon card for like, yeah, $60 million. It's not worth anything near that. Let's see.
The newest scam associated with Logan Paul leaves him netting a record-breaking
he made $16,000. Logan Paul is the guy that did the crypto scam a couple of years ago. He bought like the most expensive. He got scammed buying that Pokemon first edition pack that was obviously fake. But he's making money on this one. Usually he loses money.
$1 on the sale of his Pikachu Illustrator card, while the fans who were supposed to own 51% of the card received none of it. This is the story of Liquid Marketplace, the fractionalized ownership platform co-owned by Logan Paul that may have been a scam from the very start. Despite this only popping up in news recently following the sale of his Pokemon card, I first heard about the troubles around Liquid Marketplace back in 2024, and Logan himself, well, he's known since at least 2023. Together, we'll trudge through lie after lie, from shell corporations to false promises, and at the end, you'll be left wondering who got it worse: the fans who were scammed by a platform that was never meant to work, or the capital investors whose money may have been used for high-end fashion, expensive jewelry and watches, and other frivolous personal expenses.
See, I don't get how Logan Paul still has a viewer base. Like, who's watching him today? Like, why is he still actually like famous? And why is he getting opportunities like wrestling, like pro wrestling? Like, how? I thought he was like universally hated.
But I'm getting ahead of myself. What was Liquid Marketplace? Well, the idea of Liquid Marketplace, LMP, was not an original one. It followed in the suit of many platforms like it that offered the ability to own parts of rare collectibles. The idea is that you yourself can never afford this, at the time, $5 million Pikachu card, but through a platform like LMP, you can own—
Can you guys know? Did you guys know Pokemon cards? If you have been investing in Pokemon cards, it is one of the most appreciating assets you could have bought. As you can say, he bought it for $5 million. Just a year later, 16.5. That's a 300% increase.
Own a portion of it represented by a token. The value of the card goes up, the value of your tokens will go up. And in a way, you'll be able to profit off of its rising value. Furthermore, LMP promised voting rights to those who own shares of these collectibles. Altogether, investors will be able to decide what to do with the card, whether that's selling it and cashing out, or holding on to it. Now, almost all of this ended up being a lie, as we'll discuss later. But first, we have to talk about who created this idea. The idea came out of the North, Ontario, Canada, where two friends, Amin Nickdell and Ryan Bahadori, had a conversation which, according to Ryan, sounds almost noble. I said, hey, why don't we create a platform that would give people an equal opportunity and really level the playing field? Allow them to put whatever amount of money they want into these traditionally unattainable assets. And that's where Liquid Marketplace was born. At some point along the way, they brought on another founder, Dennis Domazet. Interestingly, when you dive into each of their backgrounds, not all of their experiences with the blockchain are equal.
How is
Starting
Logan
with
Paul a founder?
Self-described serial entrepreneur and president and
bro.
COO of Liquid Marketplace. Amin graduated with a Bachelor of Computing from Queen's University, with one of his companies even getting on a Dragon's Den spin-off. But shockingly, none of his ideas seemed to pan out for the long run, leaving behind a trail of expired websites and
Wait, what do you mean Dragon's Den spin-off? Isn't Dragon's Den a spin-off of that Japanese program? So it's a spin-off of a spin-off, okay.
On conclusions. His experience is all substantially more tech than it is finance, but maybe that's the part that Dennis brings to the table. A quick search of his name brings up financial experience. Over 20 years working as a certified tax accountant and financial consultant. Dennis is a veteran of the finance industry, having worked as a senior partner at the global accounting giant Deloitte. This lines up with his role as a previous CFO and current ongoing advisor of Liquid Marketplace. The vision comes together with these two. It's the fin and the tech of fintech. But it's when we look at their last founder, Ryan Bahadori, it starts to become a little more confusing. Ryan has gone to great lengths to ensure that his background is not as readily available as the others, severely limiting his digital footprint before he becomes the CEO of Liquid Marketplace, which is a red flag in and of itself. but using a little investigative journalism, we're able to uncover some history. Ryan has no reported experience in the finance or tech sectors. Instead, his experience seems to be entirely contained to construction. I was able to find him listed as a primary contact and general manager of what looks to be a family-owned concrete company. Furthermore, reporting suggests that before his LinkedIn was revamped back in 2022, it listed him as the director of Baja Industries, another construction.
How did you know what? You gotta respect the move up though. Going from like just some dude working in a family company to scamming people for $20 million. Yeah, that's a step up, man. In some people's eyes. Oh my days. Does he have no shame?
Construction company. You won't be the only one confused if you're thinking, what is the leap between concrete, framing, drywall, painting? Becoming the founder of a massive Web3 tech startup associated with one of the biggest YouTubers in the...
It is interesting though, because like being a framer, being someone working concrete, being an electrician, you know, all that stuff, that's super like very honorable, very important work. But in that equation, there's one person who usually isn't honorable, and it's the managers, right? It's the guys driving around being like, oh, you do this, you do this. He was a manager, of course he was.
World. I'm not entirely sure myself, but one thing is certain. If you're going to run a massive scam, you will need a massive audience, and that's where I imagine that Logan Paul comes in. Unfortunately, I'm not exactly sure how they made the connection to Logan. Only Logan himself can verify that. But with an idea centered around rare collectibles and cryptocurrency, it's clear why this would be alluring to Logan. Logan is a massive believer in crypto, and he wants to be ahead of the game.
No, he's not. He's not a believer. He's the guy selling shovels during the gold rush. Except the shovels aren't shovels. They're actually just like fake shovels on paper. He is the guy scamming people. He doesn't actually believe in this. If he actually believed in the system, he would actually develop it and back it up and make it grow, right? Not just extract value by being a scammer.
Continuously and happily signs on to projects that he should be doing more due diligence for. This is the same problem that occurred with CryptoZoo, his last project that was taken over from the inside by malicious actors. This is the same problem with Liquid Marketplace. Regardless, using the legitimacy of Logan's name, they're able to raise approximately $10 million from investors. Now, what we talk about going forward is largely going to be referencing and relying on the investigation.
That is kind of crazy though. Scamming his audience. Like, oh guys, no, listen, you own 51%, but it will be around my neck. It will be in my safe, and I'll be the one selling it. But guys, you guys own the 51%, we promise.
Accusations coming out from the Ontario Securities Commission, the OSC. Based off of their foundings, it seems that LMP was always going to be a scam, because what Logan wasn't aware of was his 3 co-founders registering 3 companies under the names of Cooney Industries by Ryan, Cooney Marketing by Aman, and Cooney Management Corp by Dennis. Companies that these 3 would later use to provide quote-unquote consulting services to Liquid Marketplace. Except, according to the OSC, there was no consulting. Instead, they would generate false invoices that they would use to charge LMP and extract money from those initial investor funds. Approximately $2.5 million worth of payments were authorized to these companies, despite on paper the founders just retaining modest salaries of hundreds of thousands of dollars. The OSC further alleges that once operations started, Ryan and Aman began using investor funds to make interest-free personal loans to themselves. Ryan himself specifically used both these funds and company credit cards to pay for nearly $500,000 worth of personal expenses, including high-end fashion, expensive...
The thing is, right? People buy into this, they invest into this. Then these founders take loans from the company. They take loans from their own company, right? They take the loans out, they like, okay, like the investors spent $5 million, put it into the company. It's in the company's bank account, right? Then these owners borrow money from that company. And when that company then goes bankrupt and dies, there's no one, they're not owing money to anyone anymore. The company's gone. They don't owe money to the company anymore. That's basically what they did.
Jewelry and watches and personal health and luxury spa services. He never paid this back, instead using Cooney Industries to offset personal expenditures with amounts purportedly owed to this fake consulting company. In my opinion, it's extremely likely Logan had no idea this was going on, which is part of the problem.
Really?
Logan's name is extremely valuable, and when he's signing his name to something, he should probably be doing some meticulous internal auditing, or, more reasonably, hire somebody else to do so with the millions.
There's no way this guy that's worth tens of millions of dollars are just like, we you know what? I'm gonna buy this Pokemon card for $5 million. Not really do repercussions. No, man. Like at some point, it's not just random. It's not just accidental. At some point, this is malicious. At some point, let's not act like Logan lost money on this.
Of dollars he has. Still, in a way, if we afford him the benefit of the doubt, Logan may have just been used once again. But those initial investors were not the only ones that were scammed. So were the fans, which leads to why everyone is so angry with Logan for his sale. See, although LMP clearly and repeatedly advertised ownership of the card, 51%, and the ability to influence decisions if you bought tokens representing partial ownership of this card, all you would actually have is tokens and nothing else. As per the terms of service, at any time, LMP could decide that Logan could just buy you out, which is exactly what he did so he could have full ownership of the card before selling it, ensuring that he kept all of the profits. You might be thinking, well, at least it's a buyout so you can get back whatever you put in. Except no. Let's imagine two sets of fans. The first set of fans bought directly from LMP during the initial offering. They paid $10 for shares, never traded or anything, and then got $10 back from Logan. But the second class of fans are those who bought shares on the open trading of LMP. Instead of
Wait, is this literally what happened to Mark Zuckerberg, by the way? Or not Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg's like co-founder who just got like giga scammed.
them buying the shares directly from LMP for $10, they actually bought them secondhand from someone else for $20. But by my understanding, Logan and his buyback only offered you the mint price. Therefore, you've lost $10 despite the card having actually gone up in value. It tripled. Furthermore, as detailed in the OSC complaint and essentially confirmed by Logan's buyback of only $270,000, despite Liquid Marketplace repeatedly advertising that they had sold out of the 51% shares of the Pikachu card, this never actually occurred. They only sold 5.4%. That is a 10x difference. They were just lying, and it wasn't just for the Pikachu card, it was for all of the collectibles. The platform was a massive failure. There was such a severe lack of interest that they couldn't actually sell a substantial amount of the ownership tokens. They pretended that 51% was sold, likely, in my opinion, to enhance marketing and initiate the next phase of the platform. Peer-to-peer trading from which they would generate income on fees. Even worse, the platform at one point, due to operational issues, was completely frozen, so you were unable to trade tokens or withdraw funds. Even the funds that Logan may have given you in the buyback. You listen to Logan Paul, he came in and personally funded the platform going back up, so investors in his Pikachu card could at least get the amount that he offered in the buyback.
Sure he did, man.
This may make you want to...
The thing is, I'm sure you did, man, but you just, in effect, stole like $10 million, right? Because he bought the card for $5 million total, then he sold it later for 16.5, and he paid like, say he paid 300,000, 227 for their shares, and like 50k to get the servers back up. Like, he just ripped them off, man.
Treat Logan a bit positively. You know, at the end of the day, maybe he was misled. He just didn't know they ran a scam under his nose. He could have had good intentions. But this gets a little hard to believe when we learned he was actually alerted to the fact that this might be a massive scam back in 2023, a year before the OSC filed its complaint.
And in the same spirit, I made Logan aware of potential problems at a different company he co-owned, called Liquid Marketplace. And a lot of people bought into this platform. The problem was, I had heard troubling stories about this company.
CoffeeZilla had already been hearing rumors about the massive issues with Liquid Marketplace. He and Logan were on amicable terms at this point. Coffee reached out to Logan, let him know everything he'd been hearing, and asked for a meeting specifically with Brian Bahadori.
So I'm thinking, while he refunds CryptoZoo, Logan can push the CEO to talk with me, and I can figure out the truth. Maybe Logan can fix it if there's something wrong. And you can see Logan responds to me. He says, "Gonna push Ryan to talk to you. Again, appreciate it, man." Now, I don't hear...
I'm gonna be honest. Let me just try and preconceive this video. Nothing came of that. He just said that. He just said that, and then nothing happened.
...back from Ryan or Logan about this, so after a while, I follow up again. I say, let me know if Ryan plans on talking. A lot of nasty stories still out there about Liquid Marketplace, embezzlement, etc., and he's dodged meeting me already once.
Fast forward, and the OSC files its complaint, and everything becomes public. Logan, between the time of being alerted and the time between the OSC complaint, seemingly did absolutely nothing. Not only that, but when CoffeeZilla reached out for comment from Logan because he was about to run a story on Liquid Marketplace, Logan sued him for his last crypto disaster, CryptoZoo.
And as I read this, it's important to correct.
Based.
I say Liquid
Logan is
Marketplace
such a
got
bad
accused of
person,
embezzlement.
man.
Technically, the OSC alleged misappropriation of funds. Those are similar, they're not the same, so I wanted to correct that. But here's what I asked. Quote, did you take any action on hearing these allegations over a year ago? Did you get approached by the Ontario Securities Commission? And is it true that Liquid Marketplace lied about their claims of insurance, appraisals, and co-ownership as the Ontario Securities Commission alleges? You can see I gave him 24 hours to respond on June 26th at 2:03 p.m. And I was promptly sued June 27th at 11:28 a.m.
The very next morning. Wow. That is 10 hours later. Wow. No, wait, sorry. That's 20 hours later. Sorry, I was like a little bit.
Seems suspicious. CoffeeZilla
Like
points
Spike.
that out as well. Well, where does this all leave us? In my opinion, based on extensive due diligence and the review of the OSC complaint, if the investigation is to be believed, these three clearly premeditated the scam and the fraud involved. There really doesn't seem to be much goodwill we can afford them. That's why all three of them went entirely silent. Their social media has gone dark and they've scrubbed their past from the internet. We can only assume they're trying their best to move on. Interestingly, although I wasn't able to confirm it, one of their names brings us to the page of a real estate agent. Real estate agent who conveniently has no pictures of himself or advertising. Logan once again leaves me severely disappointed. It's the same issues as CryptoZoo, another scam I covered in my last video. Logan is quick to jump on new ideas. He wants to be a pioneer. He wants to make a lot of money. It seems like he's severely...
He doesn't just... Okay, so like, I get it. Like, we're framing this as Logan is also a victim. Let's not forget, he has made tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in these scams. You don't make $10 million on a scam by accident. I'm sorry, but no, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You don't make $15 million, like straight up money, out of accidentally or being tricked. That's not how scams work. You don't make money when you're scammed. Like, he's playing like the oblivious buffoon, but this happened like 4 times. This happens again and again and again with crypto, with Pokemon, with all this shit. Like, this is not... At some point, it isn't accidental anymore. He's not being tricked anymore when he's making money of all of these things. The thing is, if, as CoffeeZilla talked about as well, if he was actually like tricked and he feels bad about this, he would pay the money back. He made $10 million on this and he didn't pay the investors back. He didn't pay anyone back. It was the same with CryptoZoo. He made millions upon millions of dollars and he kept on dragging it out, kept lying about paying people out. Because he would say, well, I remember this when it was happening. He would say like, oh, I'm gonna pay them back. I'm gonna pay the investors back. We're gonna be good. I'm gonna pay the fans back. Don't worry. He said that like every 6 months for 3 years, and then we just forgot about it over time. Like, he's not a victim. Okay, he's not a victim.
He lacks the ability to do his due diligence, do background checks on these people, and see what he's actually investing in and exposing his fan base to. When it all goes to hell, Logan wants to quietly step away, and he really doesn't like when people bring up his...
And again, instead of being like, yeah, guys, they f***ed me here. They tricked me. I didn't want to make all this money. I'm gonna pay it all back. He has never done that. This is it. He files lawsuits against his people calling him out. Like, this is not accidental.
The way I see it, when he's getting $8 million in profit, he can't even share 5.4% of this with fans who seemingly thought that they owned that 5.4%. Instead,
5.4. He got $8 million. He can't even share 400k. He will share nothing. He needs a new watch, man. He has a new car, man.
He makes sure they get 0%, and he gets to keep all of it. That is an insane level of greed for someone who is a multi-millionaire. You don't always have to execute things in a way where you pocket the most amount of money. Sometimes you can do good things because it's the right thing to do and you have the money to spare. Hypothetically, if he gave 5.4% out, that's $432,000, which would have still...
He's His life would change 0%, by the way. If he was like, you know what? This is f***ed up. Yeah, Pokemon cards have gone up. So I gotta sell it for more than 5 million, of course. But I will pay all of you guys back 100% plus 100%. I will give you back double what you paid in. So if you gave me $1,000, I'll give you $2,000 back. That's still only 10% of his profits. Not his total like revenue from this transaction. Only 10% of the profits. He would go with 800k, like 860k. He made $9 million minimum.
Left him with over $7.5 million in profit. To be clear, Logan followed the terms of service of the platform. To my knowledge, he did nothing illegal. I just don't think it was necessarily the most ethical way he could have done this. Beyond that, I have to stress what I always stress. Creator responsibility. I put a substantial amount of responsibility.
He's sitting in a private jet. This footage is picked so perfectly. This motherfucker is sitting on a private jet explaining why he had to scam his viewers.
Onus onto the creators who are signing their names to these things. It's not enough to just say,
horrible.
I didn't know.
Horrible.
I trusted the wrong people. There would be absolutely no scam if your name wasn't signed to it. So how come repeatedly we see that the only people losing are everyone else,
Exactly.
the fans, and the people who get away with it are the influencers and the creators? I want to thank you so much if you made it this far in the...
This sentence is for me as well, by the way. Listen up. This is for me as well.
Thank you so much if you made it this far in the video. If you liked watching this one, you might enjoy watching this one where I cover more influencer scams, or this one on the right where I talk about CoffeeZilla, the greatest investigative journalist on YouTube, and what makes him just so special.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much for the video, Mr. Maximum Regretti. A beginning brand new YouTuber. Check the comments below. I will link his channel. Drop a like. Drop a subscription. Very high quality videos. Amazing content creator. Anyways, I love you guys so much. You guys are the best as always. Leave a like. Leave a comment. What do you think? Go like Maximum Regretti. You guys are the best. I'll see you around.